श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्म
नमो
व्यामोहतत्पुराणि
हरस्य
कृताय
कपिराय
तेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दैहिकसिद्धो रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च मादाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्गिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्
மகோதயா அதுல ஒரு சின்ன டைப்போ இருந்தது இங்கிலீஷ்ல இந்த லாஸ்ட் ஸ்லோகம்
எங்கம்மா
பூதம் சரஸ்ய
பூதம் சரஸ்ய சரஸ்ச ஓகே ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்றேன் தேங்க்ஸ் மேம் वेदान्तदेशिककटाक्षविवृद्धबोधम् आन्तोपयन्त्रयमिनः करुणैकपात्रम् वत्सान् भवायम् अनवद्यगुणैरुपेतम् भक्त्या भजामि परवादिभयङ्करार्यम् श्री अण्णन् तिरुवडिगळे शरणम् कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्निकम् उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्त त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु मातः समस्तजगतां मधुकैटभारेः वक्षो विहारिणि मनोहर दिव्यमूर्ते श्रीस्वामिनिश्रितजनप्रियदानशीले श्रीवेङ्कटेशदयिते तव सुप्रभातम् ஒரு செகண்ட் இருங்க ஒரே ஒரு செகண்ட் சரி சாரி so போன தடவை we finished at we just looked at the first verse. So last two sessions we did the introduction and the first verse. Let's look at the second one, probably second and third today. Second is Uttishto Uttishta Govinda Uttishta Garudadhvaja. So with the first one he is invoking Rama. He's invoking Rama in the first one, and he is now invoking Krishna, Govinda, the form of Govinda. So as we said, Venkatanayaka or Venkateswara, Prativadi Bhayankara Manna, is perceiving him as the one who was Rama in Treta Yuga, the same person who was Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga, is now Venkateswara in the Kali Yuga. Right. So he is also called Srinivasa, the place where Sri lives, which is why you find a lot of opulence and prosperity around Venkateswara, probably the richest temple in the world, right? So So Sri Nivasa, he is the one who is the abode for Shri, and he's also called as Venkateswara because we said he is the one who removes or has the capacity to remove the ills of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, he is the one who is able to remove all the unnecessary uh, uh, the unnecessary dross that builds up over time. See, again, I try to keep away from the word sins, right? Nobody does anything on purpose which is not in their well-being. We end up doing some things which are not suitable for our well-being, but we think it is good for us, or we think it is appropriate for us, and we end up doing it because we feel it's going to give me the joy and the happiness and the solace and the satisfaction and the fulfillment that I'm looking for. That act is going to give me. But the understanding and the knowledge that probably the act will not give me, it will probably give me something completely counter to it. That understanding is not there. Hence, that act becomes a negative act, and which we term it as sin, because eventually that act then harms me in ways because of the karmic cycle, the karma phala. Anything that you do has any karma that you do has a karma phala, has you generate either papa or punya, either misdeeds or good deeds. Right? But how do you know if it's a misdeed or a good deed? How does the definition of papa or punya come? Not when the act is done. It is only when the result of the act is received. Right? Only when we go through a lot of pain, enna pavam chendeno, we say, what papa did we do? So the result is what determines the nature of the action, whether it's a papa action or a punya action. But how do you know upfront? How do I know the result upfront? This is where there are shastras, gurus, teachers, parents, society, code of conduct. All of this teaches us so that we don't fall through the pitfall. Human being has been given the intelligence to look at somebody else's problem and understand not to do it. Right? If everybody has to become like a Buddha who rejects everything and then goes and finds truth on his own, not everybody will have the ability to have that resolve or the samarthya, the competence to be able to do that. So we have to learn from people around and then you adopt it so that you don't waste time in your life. You try to focus on your well-being and try to get there as quickly as possible. So papa and punya that way are acts that we learn over time that these are beneficial and these are not so beneficial in whatever I'm trying to do, which is trying to fulfill my potential within, coming to that sense of fulfillment. And what is happening to Pratyavadi Bhayankaramanna? He is outpouring. He is seeing this and there is a sense of fulfillment. There is a purnatva he is experiencing. And that joy is coming out as this. Although his guru, Manavala Mamunigal, has told him to go and compose, he's doing it on an instruction. When you listen to it, when you chant it, it just feels like an outpouring that's come from him, from a place of joy, a place of surrender, a place of devotion. So he is now waking up Venkateshwara as Govinda. Uttishto, Uttishta Govinda, Uttishta Garuda Dhwaja. So he's saying Uttishta, Uttishta, Uttishta 3 times. He's waking up thrice. So he's calling out to Govinda, he's calling out to that Krishna, he's calling out to the one who is the protector, Govinda. Go is, Go means uh, cows or living beings. Vinda means to protect. So the term Govinda means one who is the protector of his cows, which means protector of his people, protector of his um, whatever he considers that he needs to protect, whatever comes under his realm of protection, which is what? Which is the whole of creation, pretty much. So Govinda is the protector of all of creation. By protector, what do you mean? He is the one who set the laws of dharma into motion, the laws of the way things operate into motion, and he is the one who's maintaining and preserving it also. And you go and surrender our emotions to him in devotion. When you surrender your emotion in devotion, then that which is best for you is also, your interests are protected by him, right? This is a term that's used, right? Your best interests are protected by him. So Govinda is one who not just protects you um, from the ills and from the evils and from the negativities that happening within us and outside of us, but he also protects the best interest, that which are in our best interest. Govinda. And Pratyadi Bhayankaramanna is now calling out to him and waking him up thrice, which means he's evoking that, he's invoking that within us, that Govinda. Invoking Govinda, Uttishtha, Uttishtha, Uttishtha. Usually 3 is a number that is recognized as a significant number because 2 seems to be too low and 3 seems to be just right. So anything that you do 3 times. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Do 3 times. And you also wake up, when you're waking up, Uttishtha, the waking up process is also a process where you are trying to come out of the 3 obstacles. In fact, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is also said 3 times because you want to get rid of 3 kinds of obstacles, which is known as Tapatraya. Tapatraya is Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika. So these are 3 obstacles that come in whatever we do. And we want to rid ourselves of those obstacles. Adi Bhautika is all obstacles that come because of my body. If I take a sankalpa, I want to do this, and my body does not support me. Body comes in the way of achieving my sankalpa, my resolve. That is Adi Bhautika disturbance. Adi Adhyatmika is my mind. My mind comes in the way. Today I'm feeling like doing this, but then mind says, no, why don't you rest? Let's have a cheat day. And the cheat day becomes a regular normal day there. Slowly it dissolves. Oh, I had taken a sankalpa, right? I mean, in the year start, like the resolutions that people make, it dissolves so rapidly. I remember of that resolve only the following year. And then slowly you give up taking resolutions. I am not going to. Anyways, I'm not going to keep it. What is the point in taking resolutions? Because we've slowly come to a point where our mind, the Adi Adhyatmika Tapatraya, the Adhyatmika obstacle dominates over our resolve, over our will to achieve our resolve. And then the third one is Adi Daivika. We have no control. These are obstacles that come from the outside. There's rain, there's storm, there's power cut down, there is all sorts of things that happen.
Internet issues not letting us connect to Zoom.
Internet issue, correct. Technical issues. Half the time our meetings or discussions, we just figuring out how to get the technical setup done. Adi Daivika. So these are 3 obstacles, and then when you're waking up, you don't want any of these 3 obstacles to be in play. I want my body to be able to get up, Uttishtha. I want my mind to be able to get up and not feel constrained, Uttishtha. I want everything around me, the environment to be suitable so that I'm able to get up. Uttishtha, Uttishto, Uttishta Govinda, Uttishta Garudadhvaja. I am now invoking that Govinda within me, the one who is there, who's been protecting me through the sleep also. See, there's somebody who's taking care of you during sleep. we've seen stories. I don't remember which particular incident is this. Uh, Krishna, I don't know, or some character in the Mahabharata, an asura comes and carries over the child, or carries that individual and goes away to some place when the child is sleeping. So, and that the child or the individual who's sleeping doesn't even know that he's been carried away by an asura. When he gets up, he'll be in a completely different place. Nothing like that would possibly happen to us, but there is there are asuras that are engulfing us through the night. We travel to all asuric places during night. We go to beautiful places also. A lot of times we go to very different places which we get up and then we're completely baffled. Was I here? Was I elsewhere? Maybe somebody did carry us elsewhere and then brought us back. We have no idea. But there is a certain protection that is there at night. We should be thankful for that also, right? In a way, we recognize that protection, Govinda, is there during the night. And then he is also there available. He is ever awake. So he is awake. I slept. I am waking up in his presence. I went to sleep in his presence. I'm waking up in his presence. Uttishto Uttishta Govinda Uttishta Garuda Dhvaja. So the one with the flag or the symbol of Garuda. Why Garuda is brought here is possibly an interesting thing, because Garuda is the Vahana or the vehicle for Narayana, and he is also the symbol for his vehicle. Symbol means as a flag, there is Garuda in his flag, uh, symbolizing that Garuda represents me. Correct. He rejects Amrita. That is right. So dispassion incarnate. So the story of Garuda it's there in the Adi Parva of Mahabharata, in the first section of Mahabharata. It's called Adi Parva. Of the 18 Parvas, the first Parva is called Adi Parva. And that there is a detailed exposition of Garuda, how he goes to get the Amrita from Indraloka on the instruction of Narayana. No, not on the instruction of Narayana. Actually, the story is that his mother,
The stepmother tricks him. Yeah.
exactly,
Kadru was something.
Kadru and Vinita.
Pin.
So Kashyapa Rishi has two wives, Kadru and Vinita. Vinita is the more pious and the gentle wife, while Kadru is the more devious one, right? And Kadru gives birth to hundreds of snakes, out of which Ananta, Adisesha, Vasuki, they're also born out of Kadru. But those two snakes, they somehow they come into the service of Narayana. But the other snakes are still along with Kadru, waiting for her devious plans and ideas and how to go and take over things, go and destroy things and stuff like that. While Vinita has two kids. One is Aruna and Garuda. Aruna he becomes the charioteer for Surya Deva. We discussed a little bit about Aruna during Aditya Hridayam, if you recall. Somebody who's got no limbs, waist down. So he becomes the charioteer for Surya Deva, and Garuda he's there now. What happens is the Kadru she wants to show her she is better than um, Vinita to Kashyapa, and then she throws up a challenge saying that the horses. I think I may not be getting the exact story right, but the idea is the celestial horses that are flying have a black tail. So she throws up a challenge, and Vinita says, "No, no, they have white tail." And then what she does is she goes and tells her sons. Kadru goes and tells her serpent all the serpent sons, to go and wrap themselves around the tail of the horse to appear black. So the tail appears black. So Vinita loses, and then she says that if you lose, you become my servant, you become my dasa, right? And then she becomes her dasa. And then, but Garuda is now wanting to release the mother from the shackles of her dasatvam, the shackles of her servanthood from Kadru. So he goes and asks, how can I do this? How can I get my mother out of your clutches? Then she says that you have to go and get the Amrita from Indraloka. Then he goes to Indraloka. The story kind of describes how he goes and what all things happen in the way and all. And he goes and gets the this thing from the Indraloka. But on the way, Narayana stops him, or Vishnu stops him to say that no, you know, or he gets the this thing from Indraloka, the Amrita Kalasha, and Indra is not very happy, so he throws his Shakti Astra. What is that? The thunderbolt. I don't know what is that called. Somebody knows the name of it.
Vajrayudham.
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 Thank you. So he throws his Vajrayudha, but that Vajrayudha does not even scathe. It just knocks off one feather from Garuda's wings. So it doesn't scathe him at all. And Indra realizes this is a really powerful bird. And then he lets him go. And then on the way, he destroys a lot of things and all that. And then Indra lets him go. Then Vishnu kind of comes in the way. And then he stops him. He says, you can't take Amrita like this and give it to unfit people. Right? And then he says, no, no, don't worry, Bhagavan, I will bring it back. But I need this to release my mother. So then he carries, then Vishnu tells him it's okay. I allow you to go, but then I would you give me a word that you will be in my service. He says, yes, Bhagavan, I'll be at your service. And then he takes the Kalasha, goes and releases the mother from the clutches of Kadru. And then now Kadru's children are wanting to consume this Amrita Kalasha, the Amrita. And then the story is that he tells them, you all wait. You have to go take a bath in the river. All of you, all the serpents, go take a bath in the river. Till then, I'll hold it. Right. So then they go take a bath, and but in the meanwhile, Garuda tricks them and carries the Amrita Kalasha, goes back and leaves it at Indraloka and comes back. And then these serpents are really wild. And then the story is that the serpents then start licking. So he places the Amrita Kalasha on Darba, on Kusha grass. And these serpents lick the Kusha grass in the hope that they get some drops of the Amrita Kalasha the Amrita that would have fallen from the Kalasha. And then that's why they have a split tongue. That is what the story says. Because of the Kusha grass, they got a split tongue because they were trying to lick the Amrita on that. But all that said, then Garuda becomes the Vahana of Narayana. He goes and gives it back, and then Garuda says, I'll come of your service, Narayana. Now the beauty there is he does not have any, and Narayana is so pleased because he sees that this being, this Garuda, has no intention of consuming Amrita himself. He himself is carrying that whole nectar, which is nectar of immortality, but he doesn't consume it, nor does he misuse it. Doesn't go and give it to his people. I mean, I'll give you a few drops and then I'll give it to the Asuras or Kadru's kids. Nothing like that. He is very focused on his resolve. Goes to pick it up to release his mother, and then he goes and returns it. Right. So that kind of dispassion, like beautifully Kalpaka mentioned, that dispassion, even for Amrita, because the Amritattvam is not in the substance, not in this Sharira. Amritattvam is uh, 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 an aspect that is beyond the physical, the realm of the physical, beyond the conditionings of the physical. So he becomes the Garuda Dhwaja, he becomes the symbol of Narayana. So, in fact, all the depictions are Narayana. Before you see Narayana, you actually see the face of the eagle, Garuda. So the moment you see Garuda, you know that Narayana has come. So that kind of a stature that he has got in by through entirely through means of devotion and surrender. All that he said is, I'll do your bidding, and then he has always remained at the bidding of Narayana. Similar to Nandi, whoever waits for Shiva's instructions, always waiting, listening to Shiva's instructions, right? And which is why Nandi is also gathered so much of capacity of listening, which is why we go and say things into Nandi's ears. There is this practice, right? If you've seen, people will go and suddenly they'll go and start whispering something to Nandi's ears. So the tradition is that if you say it to Nandi, it will reach Bhagavan, because you cannot go past Nandi to Shiva. He's the gatekeeper, but he's also the right, he's also the true messenger. He's also um, uh, um, an unfiltered messenger. He will go and pass on your message. So that way, he's created that intense ability to wait, listen to instructions. That is devotion, that is surrender. And slowly, when that develops, then that wakes up within us, then we are able to listen to those instructions. We are able to listen to the voice that's coming from within, right? And the voice that's coming, it's very difficult to differentiate. Is it my voice, the mind voice, or is God telling me? Who's telling me? But there's always the subtle voice that will be there in the background that will keep saying things in your well-being, in the large, with a much bigger picture in context. Our mind will say things that are very, very transactional nature, and that which pleases us, it will say that. But this voice, the voice that is there, it's very subtle, and it will not propagate itself at all. It will not advertise itself at all. This voice, it is the subtlest of voices. Why will it not advertise itself? Because it knows it doesn't need to make its presence felt in the humdrum. Like, for example, there's a lot of humdrum, and there's also a statement to say that uh, uh, தமிழ்ல ஒரு வச்சனம் இருக்கேம்மா, என்னது அது, இது தெலும்பாதுன்னு சொல்லுவோமே,
நிறைய குடம் தெலும்பாதுன்னு
நிறை
சொல்லு.
குடம், நிறை குடம் தெலும்பாது, which means a pot that's full will not move.
will not overflow. குதிக்காது
It will not be agitated, and it'll stay in one place. Only if it's half empty or empty, there's a possibility of it to keep moving and being agitated. So in that sense, somebody who's completely established, if there is a lot of noise, they will sit very quiet. In the same way, this voice within us also sits very quiet in the background of the humdrum and the noise that happens. The only way to access that voice is how we completely empty vessel makes more noise. Correct. So how do you go past that and listen to that voice? Is when you actively choose to shut the noise that is there. So through meditation, through dhyana, through sadhana, through contemplation, through acts of devotion, this noise will slowly subdue. As noise subdues, you will notice that there is some voice that is constantly speaking something, saying something, indicating something, which is in true well-being, in our true well-being. So Garuda is somebody who's always intently listening to that voice. So which is why he became the symbol of Narayana, which means to show that, be that way. Be in a way like Garuda, so that you become receiving to those instructions and is receiving to that voice that is the voice of God, or voice of the conscience, or voice of whatever that is there. It is the voice of dharma. It is essentially constantly telling us which way to act, what to do. A lot of times when we are acting in a way that is not suited for our essential well-being, you'll notice there will be some hesitation that will be there. There'll be some shivering, some hesitation, some disturbance that the mind will, should I do, should I not do? The conflict will generate when that is there. The problem is we are so used to that conflict that sometimes that becomes commonplace. We deal with conflicts of the mind and then we take decisions based on our transactional needs and we move on. We identify times of shutting down this humdrum, this noise. Then there is a possibility of touching that space, which is this voice that is there. And that is Uttishto Uttishta Govinda Uttishta. So you wake up and then you pray that these obstacles don't come in my way. Oh Govinda, you who have been protecting me, you've been preserving me before I went to sleep, while I slept, and now that I'm waking up. And now that I see, I have to be, now I have to listen to you as the Garuda listens to you, Garuda Dhwaja. As the Garuda listens to you and waits for your beckoning, I have to get up. So the first thing we get up possibly is not, we shouldn't listen to the Instagram. Insta
Like the mail check பண்ணுவா. My husband always checks his email.
email. Tishto Uttishta Govinda Uttishta Insta Dhwaja. We wait to listen what Instagram has to say.
முன்னாடி போட்ட போஸ்டுக்கு யாராவது லைக் போட்டிருக்காளா, கமெண்ட் போட்டிருக்காளா? That's the first thing.
So this is something that it's become a thing and it seems right, but then over time it's just that we go into sleep with noise. We spoke about how to go into sleep, right? We go into sleep with noise, we wake up with noise. And how will we be able to listen to the voice? Because it's very subtle, right? It's always subtle and it doesn't need, it does, which as I said, it doesn't advertise itself. It will not come up and stand up and say that, why are you doing this? No, it'll subtly wait there. It'll wait perennially. That's the beauty of, say, Nandi or Garuda. They will wait perennially. They'll not know when Bhagavan is going to call them. It's not like, oh, you didn't give me a schedule. Hey, Bhagavan, you didn't give me sufficient advance notice, so I probably won't be available at this time. It's not like that, right?
Bhagavan, இன்னும் leave வேணும் பகவானே, அது மாதிரி சொல்லு.
And I had put an out of office alert already. You didn't see it. So we are talking about not an external entity, right? We are talking about how to listen to this voice inside and how do we enable ourselves to be able to listen to it in silence. In silence, we are so muddled with thoughts and the turbulence of our thoughts are so high that we are not able to stand the tsunami of the thoughts. And then, so the voice will remain as a subtle background. The more and more we subdue the tsunami, the more and more we come over, practice and build ourselves to kind of bring that tsunami down, then maybe we'll observe, oh, there is this voice that's there. We'll get glimpses of it, right? So Uttishto Uttishta Govinda Uttishta Garuda Dhwaja. So this is the second shloka, second verse. The third verse is Mata Samasta Jagatam Madhukaita Bhare Vaksho Viharini Manohara Divya Murte Shri Swamini Shrita Janapriyadana Shile Shri Venkateswara Suprabhatam Suprabhatam. So here in the third one, now he is going and waking up mother. Mata Samasta Jagatam Madhukaita Bhare. He is waking up mother and saying that Mata Samasta Jagatam, O mother of the whole world of the universe, you are the wife of Madhukaita Bhare. Madhukaita Bha Arehe, Arihi. Arihi means the enemy. Ari means the enemy. Madhu, Kaitabha are two asuras that were killed by, in the Vishnu Purana, in the Devi Mahatmyam, they appear, these two characters appear. And they were killed by Vishnu. one story shows
Killed by Devi.
there are slight
Yeah.
differences. Yeah. There are slight differences. With the power of Devi, Vishnu goes and kills. So there's a couple of variations there. But the important thing there is Madhu and Kaitabha are two entities that are the Puranic story is that they come from the earwax of Vishnu. When Vishnu is sleeping, they come from the earwax. And Madhu represents tamas, Kaitabha represents rajas, the quality of rajas. They come out, and these two asuras, then they go and do all their fun stuff, go and beat up everybody, destroy all things and all that. And then people come and cry to Vishnu, you let your earwax out, and then now it's causing havoc. காதுல பஞ்சு வச்சுன்னு தூங்க மாட்டேல.
பஞ்சு வச்சுன்னா நீ சொல்றது கேட்காதேப்பா.
பஞ்ச வச்சுருவேன். அப்புறம் எல்லாரும் சொல்றதெல்லாம் கேட்கணும். அவன் சொல்றது மாத்திரம் இல்ல, எல்லாரும் சொல்றது. அவர் நம்ம சொல்றதெல்லாம் கேட்கணுங்கிறதுக்காகத்தான் அந்த வேக்சியே கிளியர் பண்ணிருக்காரு.
ஆமா. So this wax is something that represents tamas and rajas that leaves Vishnu while he's sleeping in yoga nidra. While he is in yoga nidra, that's the story. So it comes out and it becomes the asura and goes and creates havoc. And then people come running to Vishnu, and then Vishnu tries to kill them, but he's not able to. And then he goes to Devi and pleads Devi. Devi gives him Shakti. And then he again goes to Madhu Kaitaba, and then he tries to approach them in a different way. He tries to praise Madhu and Kaitaba, saying, "Oh, you guys are great," and so on and so forth. And then Madhu and Kaitaba suddenly feel they feel grand because Vishnu himself has come and praised us. And then they say that, okay, what boon do you want? And then Vishnu says, I'd like to be the cause of your death. And then in their haughtiness, they just give the boon, and then he comes and then kills them, right? This is the Puranic story. And one interpretation or one particular story is that Madhu Kaitaba, Vishnu takes the form of Hayagriva and then goes and kills Madhu Kaitaba, because Madhu Kaitaba takes the bhumi or the Vedas. They take the Vedas and then go and hide it under the ocean. And then he takes the form of Hayagriva. Vishnu takes the form of Hayagriva and comes in, kills them and retrieves the Vedas. So that's the story. But the idea is Madhu and Kaitaba, if you look at them, they are essentially our likes and dislikes. They are the representation of our likes and dislikes. Madhu means, the word means honey. Kaitabha means that which has come from a kita, a germ or a worm or an insect or an insect. That which has come from an insect, kita, is Kaitabha. Kaitabha. And Madhu is very sweet, and Kita is an insect. So you go towards Madhu, you stay away from Kita. That's how we operate, right? We go towards what we like, and we come away or stay away or run away from that we despise. So when we do that, we are again buffeted by duality. We are beaten by duality. We either always try to rush towards what I want, I like, I desire, I get pleasure in, I get joy in, or I try to stay away from things that are displeasing, uncomfortable, not to my liking. So we keep going, running between these two things. So the story is that Vishnu comes and destroys this. He is the one who creates it, of course, in the first place. So the Kama Deva, or the Kama that is there within, it's called Raga Dvesha. These are the two terms that are used to indicate Madhu Kaitabha, Raga Dvesha. Raga is the passion, I want this. Dvesha is I don't want this. So from Raga Dvesha, we need to move to Viraga, which is Vairagya, which is dispassion. So when you're getting up, now in the process, now how does this connect to Mata Samasta Jagatam Madhukaita Bhare? He is now invoked as Madhukaita Bhare, which means when I get up, Whether I like or not, I need to get up. It is one thing. But the more important thing is the waking up process shouldn't be colored by my likes and dislikes. And we said the waking up is not essentially just the physical waking up or the mind opening or the mind waking up. It's the waking up to the truth, or to be able to see or perceive um, from a much deeper place within. To be able to perceive from a much deeper place within. So when you wake up, you want to wake up as much as close to the reality as possible, other than reality, truth, as close as possible to the truth as possible. You want to wake up to that truth, because you were resting in that truth. Mind you, when you're sleeping completely in deep sleep, there is no body, there is no mind. You were the closest to what is called as the Anandamaya Kosha of the Pancha Kosha. You were closest to the Anandamaya Kosha, or you were in the Anandamaya Kosha. When you get up, you jump to the Annamaya Kosha, which is like 4 sheets. So you jump out. So is it possible to stay as close as possible? Which is why it is said, once you get up, try to sit and meditate for some time. Because then the Garuda Dhwaja comes in, right? So here, your Madhukaitava, you're trying to invoke that aspect which you don't want to now get up and then say, no, I like this, I don't want this, oh, I have to do this. Don't jump into the world of action. Don't jump into the world of immediately getting agitated with thoughts and actions. Mata samasta jagatam madhukaita bhare. Oh mother, may I wake you as the wife of this Madhukaita Madhusudana, the one who killed Madhusudana, Madhukaita Bhare, Hari. Vaksho Viharani Manohara Divya Murte. May you, so I see a beautiful form in the heart of Govinda. Shri Swamini Shritajana Priyadani Shile. So you are the one who's, you are Shri Swamini. You are the one who is, as the wife of Narayana, you are the Shri Swamini. You are the goddess or the lord of all that is prosperity, all that is prosperous, or all that is this whole creation. You are the lord of it. By what designation you get that? By the designation of being his wife, you get this. Shri Swamini, Shrita Jana Priyadana Shile. Shrita Jana is you're worshipped by people to whom you appear as Dana Shila. So it's because of your compassion, you are now available to me, and I wake you up. So, you have to keep looking at it from both perspectives. The way it is shown as though you're waking her up, but then you're realizing that her presence within you, that auspiciousness within you, when you get up, which is why it said we should get up to a new day each day, not get up to say that Ayyo another day, right? When you get up to saying Ayyo another day, then there is no sense of auspiciousness with it. But when you get up to say that, wow, yes, another day. Of course, the next immediate thing that may happen is it will make you say that Ayyo another day. But at least you consciously wake up. You consciously make a resolve to wake. Now, today I'm going to wake up with the sense of auspiciousness. Shri Swamini Shritajana Priyadana Shile. So there you experience her abundance and her compassion. Dana Shila. Dana Shila means the compassionate one. You experience her compassion. Shri Venkateswara Daite Tava Suprabhatam. Oh, wife of or beloved of Venkateswara, Tava Suprabhatam. May you wake up within me. May you wake up as this auspiciousness or mangalam within me. And then Kartala, when we get up, usually the practice is also to play a Mangala Vadyam. But this we typically only play once every Deepavali, I think. Atla Deepavali Kappa Kartala, and then Nadaswaram, he'll play Nadaswaram.
ஆல் இண்டியா ரேடியோல ஒரு காலத்துல வச்சுட்டு இருந்தா, அப்புறம் ஷெனாய் மாதிரி ஒண்ணு வச்சுட்டு இருந்தா. ஆல் இண்டியால கத்தால நாதஸ்வரம் வரும் டெஃபினட்டா ஒரு காலத்துல. இந்த காலத்துல பார்த்தா நாதஸ்வரம் சத்தம் ஹைதராபாத் ஸ்டேஷன்ல எல்லாம் டெஃபினட்டா வரும். வந்துட்டு அவுட் சுப்பிரபாதம் வரும்.
Correct. So that Nadaswaram essentially is to invoke Mangalam, auspiciousness. They're called Mangala Vadyams, instruments that generate sounds of auspiciousness. So we listen to that and then we try to, so essentially see, there's a whole waking up process within us, right? Beautifully, the whole process. And it goes into 29 verses. So it's not a small, it's not, I woke up, I slept and I woke up. So as we look at this and break it down into more details, you'll notice how we can beautifully orchestrate this whole process of waking up into a sadhana itself by itself, and a very involved experience, and an experience of the divine will seep in slowly. So, and when you do this in the morning, your day is kind of set, right? You do it at the start of the day, your day is kind of set, and then we also spoke about how to go off to sleep. So both sides, you're kind of packaging it with a certain sense of auspiciousness and completeness within. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, and that's a beautiful shloka. So when you get up, you say Lakshmi is in your hand. Kara agre, in the front of your hand, vasate Lakshmi, lives Lakshmi. Mangalavad, yeah, Veena is also a Mangalavadim, yes. So some of these Nadaswaram is used because of the decibel level of the sound that it generates. It generates really loud sounds, and Veena is very soothing, so it can put you back to sleep also.
Snooze versus wake up alarm.
Exactly. So Veena is like the snooze button. It's so beautiful. You go back to sleep. But Nadaswaram, it's hard to sleep, right? It's like the wake up which you have to respond to. So
கல்யாணத்துல எல்லாம் ஒரு 500 பேர் பேசின்னு இருப்பா, திடீர்னு மங்கள வாத்தியம் வாசிக்க
it's also important because to douse off all the noise. See, the conch shell that is blown, the money or the bells that are ringing in the temple precincts, the Nadaswaram sound that goes out, all of these sounds happen with such high decibel levels, is to douse off any other sounds of negativity that can be there in the environment, right? So Nadaswaram is also making Lord to sleep. Oh, very nice. I wonder how he does it. நமக்கு கஷ்டம் நாதஸ்வரத்துல தூங்குறது, but if it's played, maybe Sheikh Chinna Maulana plays it, maybe.
ஈவன் நாதஸ்வரத்தெல்லாம் தூங்குற அளவுக்கு பிளே பண்ணினா கூட நம்ம மனசுக்குள்ள வந்திருக்கிற ஒரு பாவம் ஆரம்ப காலத்துல இருந்து நாதஸ்வரம் நம்ம முழிச்சுக்கணும்.
I know. See, traditionally, yeah.
நமக்குள்ள அது இருக்கு.
Correct. So some of these things we need to recognize. Correct, Amma. Like Amma saying, see, some of these things we also have to notice that traditionally it's built into the way we brought up. We are in a culture that is kind of introduced these things to us. I don't know if Nadaswaram will give the same emotion and this thing to a person who's not brought up in this culture, right? It might that blaring sound might be really disturbing in the morning. But then
actually marriages எல்லாம் முன்னாடிலாம் நம்ம we normally we stay in the பெரிய ஹால் மாதிரி இருக்கும். அந்த காலத்துலலாம் வந்து we just stay there itself. And when the muhurtam is going to start, before that, wake up வந்து காஃபி ரெடி ஆனோடனே வந்து சொல்லுவாங்க, பா நான் கொஞ்சம் ஆரம்பிப்பா எல்லாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி தான் சொல்லுவாங்க.
Exactly.
Just wake up everybody. அதை கேட்ட உடனே எல்லாருக்குமே ஆச்சு காஃபி குடிக்க போகணும் அப்படின்னு அந்த ஒரு
I know. So it's also culturally built into our the way we've been doing these things. But the point is, some of these sounds that are also emanated have, like the conch shell, the sound of the conch shell, the gong of the bell. Some of these sounds have known to have an effect in its environment. Like the other day, I was reading Rudram. I was telling, right, Rudram Namakam particularly. When Namakam is chanted in a goshti, in a chorus, it has the ability to destroy a lot of bacteria and germs that's there in the environment, and it has an impact to a couple of kilometers radius in that vicinity. So these sounds that are emanated have a certain positive influence in the environment around. And when that is, such sounds are important. So if you notice, even in the war field in those days, Mahabharata, each one has a shankha and he blows the shankha, right? To remove all any kind of negativities. In fact, in Bengali weddings, you will see they will blow the conch. They'll make sounds with the mouth, or that it's a very they'll roll the tongue and make a noise out. Some of these sounds are done to drive away any other negativities that may reside in that environment in terms of sound, in terms of even pechavarta, people talking, if they're talking out of gossiping and all of that, you want to douse that and you want to bring your mind to a certain focus within you. Center yourself. So, Matas Samasta Jagatam Madhukaita Bharehe Vaksho Vihardi Manohara Divya Murte. See you in my heart. I see you in Narayana's heart, but I also see you in my heart as auspicious. Shri Swamini Shritajana Priyadana Shile. You reside here as the compassionate one. Shri Venkatesha Daite, O mother, O wife of Venkatesha, Tava Suprabhatam. May it be a glorious morning to you, which means may it be a glorious morning to me. May I wake up to auspiciousness. Right? So that's verse 2 and 3. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyirva Buddhyatmana Va Prakate Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanaayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikayeti Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Priyakantāya Kalyananidhe Nidhetinam Shri Venkatanivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam. Hari Om Gurudeva.